When it comes to making music as like a regular person, so you're not moved out, you're not somewhere, where like music industry is present. You're not, living in some musical bubble where everything is your life is not music. Although you might feel as if it is. You might feel as if music is my life. But what I mean by that is you have other obligations. There's other things in your life that take priority or get in the way. You have a normal life, is what I'm saying. You live a normal person life who has to do normal person things, and you make music because it's what you like to do. So there's issues that come with that. Like a lot of times I see a lot of videos like on YouTube or even Instagram, and the aesthetics are always like so perfect to me. Like in these videos, it's like they kind of live in like this false reality where they live in like a dream dimension where they just sit in this beautiful studio and they just make music all day, and that's what they do. And I wish that could be me sometimes, or I wish that I had the ability to just sit in a nice studio and just pluck at the old heartstrings, I guess. But we all live normal lives. We have to do normal things, and whether that's go to school or go to work or have responsibilities, there's just things that get in the way, and I don't think that that's shown enough. I remember seeing like an interview with like Billie Eilish and showing like her like original studio or whatever, like in her bedroom, and I always thought that was pretty unique, and it was interesting like to see that, because I feel like more artists should be like allowed to show where their music comes from, because I feel like a lot of the time it comes with like the image of them as an artist. We're not really able to see where their music really comes from. All right, I wrote things down. I should read off my notes. All right, here's the topic: exterior intervention. So what do I mean by exterior intervention? I mean things like weather. I make music in a shed. It is a nice looking shed. I've made it look nice with my music gear, and it's not nice. It's cold. I live in New England. It's cold most of the time. Most of the time, it hurts to hold this microphone in my hand because it's so cold. And I have a space heater, and it does a great job at burning my legs, and that's about it. So, like, if you're a normal person, your conditions may not be perfect. I have to make music out here because I would drive my family absolutely insane if I made it inside. It's just undoable. It's not possible. So that's where I am. I have been subjected to the shed/garage, which I will not show you that side, but just you can imagine it. Back to the notes. School and work, right? That's obvious. We all, like, unless you are making money as a producer, which which is most likely, or money as a producer or an artist, which is 5% of people that enjoy making music. I have to answer guess. I don't really know the statistics. Don't hold me on that. Just kidding. You can hold me on that. But regardless, those are big responsibilities. We don't get there's the return of investment on making music is very low for most people, I'd have to say. So we either, and some people have school and jobs. I'm in school and I have a job, so the time that I have left for making music is often slim to none. So I find it hard to have any energy to come out here and do it, even though it's what I go to school and work for. It's so that I have the time to be able to do this. Next note: maintaining social relationships. So this is another thing. If you are spending all of your time grinding away at the next hyperpop trap hit, on your computer in your studio all day, or desk, or wherever you're making music, it doesn't leave a lot of time for other people in your life, such as friends, relationships, if you have those, or family. So, I mean, that's another thing you have to juggle. Do you want to spend your free time do you want to spend your free time with your friends and family, or do you want to spend it rolling through 50 different hi-hat sounds until you end up just going back to the first one that you heard and decided that one's good enough, actually? So those are the things that's another thing that you have to run when calculating how much time you're going to be spending on making music, and conditions on where you make music. So I already kind of touched on that one, but I'm fortunate enough now to be in a spot where I have built up a decent amount of music equipment, and I'm in a space that is cold and freezing and has a lot of issues, but no one gives me problems because I'm out here and I'm not bothering anyone except maybe my neighbors sometimes. So, but that's not the same for everybody. You could be in your room. You might only be stuck to headphones and unable to use monitors if you wanted to, or unable to practice an instrument that you want to. Maybe you're not into producing. Maybe you just love playing the clarinet, and you are just a clarinet kind of guy. But no one in your house wants to listen to you play clarinet. So maybe that's a problem for you, So it's music is believe it or not, it makes noise. Music makes noise. I don't know if you knew that. You probably didn't know that, but music makes noise. So yeah, you have to deal with that as well. That's a whole nother thing. Interior intervention. So by interior, I just mean you and your dummy little bozo brain. The first one I have is creativity block, right? So how often do you finally find the time to sit down and make something, and then you sit down on your computer or whatever, and nothing comes out? Nothing. You just sit there, or you roll through a bunch of sounds, hoping to catch some block of inspiration, some little piece of some little smidgen of something, and it doesn't happen, and you close up and hold your head in shame as you walk back into wherever you abode, and sulk until the next time. Well, you know what? It's not just you. It happens to everybody. So get over it. No, I'm kidding. It sucks. It happens with everyone. It happens with writers. It happens with maybe not everybody. I hope not. I hope if you're working a construction job, you don't just get construction block and forget how to build a house or something. Maybe that's not a great time, to tell your client, hey, I'm dealing with a little bit of construction block right now. I just can't remember how to stack these bricks. But you get my point. It's just another thing where maybe you finally find the time to sit down and make something, and you can't. You have nothing left. Nothing up in the old noggin. Emotional block. All right, so this one's a little bit different, but think about it like this. Maybe you have trouble writing lyrics. Maybe you can only write lyrics if they come from an emotional place, right? They come from a place of pain or hurt or whatever. Maybe life is good right now. Maybe you're fucking killing it. Maybe you're doing insane. Maybe you're going sicko. And you're like, you know what? I'm going to sit down and make some music. I'm going to write some lyrics. And you sit down and you've got nothing. You've got nothing because at this moment in time, there's nothing that's irking you so much that you can write about it. That happens too. That sucks as well. I have a lot of hard time writing music in the summertime. I'm generally more happy in the summertime, and it just kind of leads to a weird place where I can't really access where I would access in my brain to write lyrics. That's a real thing. energy to make music, or how I just like to call it, catching a vibe. Sometimes you just need the right vibe. You have to just catch the vibe. It's either there or it's not there. You can sit down and you could have ideas. You could not have creative block. You could have creative circle. And if the vibe's not there, or you don't have a vibe, there's no wanting to do it. You get home from work or whatever you do, and you're like, let's do it. Let's make some music. And you're like, I don't really know where I'm going with this one. I guess just being in the mood. Even when you have the time, sometimes you're not in the mood, even if you want to be in the mood. So that's like a double slap in the face. All right, so this is a big one. Comparing yourself to others. So this is like, whether this is social media, or even just like people around you, if you have friends that make music or do a similar thing as you could very often find yourself struggling to believe in anything that you make is decent or good or has any value, or you're bringing anything new to the music sphere, because you constantly are comparing yourself to other people and the music that's coming out around you. Plenty of times where I find myself working on something, I have like an idea of like some genre of music that I'm trying to do, and I'll just click on something on my phone, like a random Instagram video or a random something, and then all of a sudden I'm like, that I need to do that right now. I need that idea. I need to completely wipe what I'm doing. That's the music I should be making. I don't know what the fuck I've been doing, making vapor trap music. I need to be making soul beats. Actually, that's actually my true calling. I had it all mixed up this whole time, and then I'll instantly lose track of what I was doing originally and go off on a complete tangent making something else, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but you've completely lost what originally you were going after, or like this unique style that you were trying to make for yourself, and all of a sudden you're going down a completely different path, and then 10 seconds later that could change again. So it's so important to remind yourself just to make what you think is good, or make something and then don't think that just because it sounds different than something else means that it's worse. It's just different. All right, so that brings me to the last subject, which is how to push through. So how do you push through these problems? I don't know. Who cares? Not me. All right, well, I'll just tell you the things that I do, because I don't actually know. I'm not some music therapist, all right? I can just kind of tell you what I do. So the first thing that I do is remind yourself that it's your passion. So remind yourself that this is the thing that you love to do. You love making music. It's where you find happiness. It should not be stressful. It should not bring you down, right? This is the thing that we as music creators love to do. So by reminding myself that, it kind of allows me to not feel dread when I want to go and make music. It allows me to remember that this is actually something you enjoy, so let's go and enjoy it. Let's go try and enjoy it, because we know that it's what we like to do. And there's another thing. If you're someone who likes to work out or works out at all, you got to warm up first, right? You got to warm up your muscles. It's your music ability is a muscle, and it has to be warmed up and it has to be worked. So you could go away from, let's say you go on a vacation or something and you're away from making music for a while. It can feel very intimidating to come back and try and do it again. Just baby steps. Hop back on the keyboard, hop back on the guitar, or whatever it is that you play, and just do some scales. Play something you're familiar playing with. Play something that makes you feel comfortable again before you try to go in and make something new. And I think what that often does is it kind of gets me in the zone, gets my hands moving again, and it gets my brain going again, and it reminds me that, like, you play instruments, you know how to do this, so it shouldn't be intimidating. It should be something that once you warm up, it comes naturally, and then next thing you know, you're right back in it. And then my last point: make shit music. Make something bad. Make something so bad that it's funny and you laugh at it. Just start making music again. Just make something. Put some keys down, put a silly drum beat down, make something, and you will infinitely feel so much better going into it another day, or even if you're just using that as like a warm-up. Just make something for fun. Just make something for fun, and you will feel so much better about coming back into music when you finally have a creative idea. It gives you way more resources in your brain to pull back to when it's time to make something. You'll feel more creative. Just have fun screwing around, and I promise you'll enjoy it so much more. So, I mean, that's all I got. Stay different. Stay creative. Yeah.